The Last of the 20 by Joseph N. Wdowski. New ally. Jimmy and Brandy did head back. Miller turned his back on them as soon as they were far off enough. "I don't trust them, old man." 124 protested. "I don't either, but I don't need more enemies." Miller led them east on Derby Avenue. "Any surprises ahead?" "Not really. The mutants that survived last night are all back asleep in their nests." He answered, "Perhaps you should have accepted the girl, held her as a hostage, prevent them from breaking the armistice." Miller stopped and turned to face 124. "I'm not taking a hostage. I am shocked you would even suggest that, especially a female. Just thinking outside the box. Nothing wrong with brainstorming." 124 defended himself. "All right." Miller began walking again. "You said not really. So what is ahead of us?" "The usual animals, but I'm picking up a large number of wild bovines and horses. They seem to be around an old dairy farm on the north side of the road ahead. Must be Fieldview Farm, where my helmet computer estimated the bull and cows we encounter on Route 15 originated from." "Sure, more useless trivia." 124 responded, a bit annoyed. "Anything else of interest, or only the wild livestock?" "Well, yeah." 124 stated. "Which is?" Miller was getting a little concerned about the robot. He was starting to wonder again that over the years, perhaps his processing chips had been damaged. It was true that MCS 124 was shut down for 25 years, but he was still out in the elements during that time. Hot summers, thunderstorms, 2, 3 or more hurricanes, and northeastern blizzards. "You okay? What else is ahead of us?" Miller stopped to look down at the robot. "I'm picking up mutants." "You already said they're dormant back in their nests." Those are. Miller was now really worried. 124 had turned out to be a very valuable asset. If it were not for 124 during the mutant attack at St. Michael's, Miller knew he would not be alive now. "Did running those flood lights affect your CPUs?" "My CPUs are fine." 124 was insulted by the suggestion. "It is not logical, though. These mutant readings I am picking up are active, awake, outside." Miller looked east down Derby Avenue, thinking of what 124 was saying. "That is impossible. Mutants cannot be in the sunlight." "I know that is the problem. It is illogical that I would be getting these readings." 124 pointed out. It was then Harry and his cronies landed on the back of the robotic mule. That took no notice of them. "Your metal box is right, Harry." Miller let out a deep breath of annoyance. "You're approaching their farm. That they sometimes do some farming on." Harry continued. "There?" Miller asked. "The family members." Harry was a bit short. "I told you they're the rare mutant offspring of the Nightwalkers. I guess your talking box here is picking up that their internal organs are not much different than their parents." "That would explain a lot." 124 concluded. "Are they dangerous too?" Miller asked, thinking that perhaps he should find a way to detour around them. The family. "No, they are only a danger to themselves. They are harmless, very, very laid back, perhaps too laid back. They are kind of dopey, especially Todd, their somewhat leader." An hour later, by late morning, Miller and the robots spotted Fieldview Farm. Not to the same level as the Hi-Ho Hotel was maintained by the Branch family, it still showed some signs of care. Their upkeep was unexpected compared to the ruins Miller was used to seeing ever since he emerged from Shelter 1. Harry and his cronies were still riding on top of the robotic mule. They were enjoying the motion of the machine's mechanical walking. "You found it." Harry stated the obvious. Miller was now close enough that his sensors were also able to pick up the life signatures of the livestock and family members. Unlike the wild bovine they had encountered on Route 15, these animals were much more docile, being fenced in a large field. The domestic farm animals did not shock him as much as his hearing for the first time the laughter of children playing. You sure about this? 124 was not convinced that approaching these mutants of mutants was the wisest decision. If they are mutants, they will most likely not be affected by my audio-targeted crowd control system. Since they are out in the daylight, the floodlights will also not affect them. I am picking up only 14 adult individuals. Most are females and 6 children. I am not picking up any projectile weapons. Are you? No, they aren't armed. Miller lightly patted his holstered sidearm. I think I can handle 4 unarmed adult males. I think you are forgetting that mama bear a few nights ago. Females can be dangerous too. 124 disagreed. More dangerous if you let them steal your heart. Harry crowed just before he and his group flew off. As they got closer to the farm, 3 of the children ran out to meet them, a boy about 4 years old and 2 girls about 5 and 6. They looked like normal pre-virus human children. His helmet scans, in contrast, gave a biological overlay reading on his HUD of each child. Their internal organs were similar to their mutant. "Hello," said the oldest girl. "Hello," parroted the 2 younger ones as they both sucked on sweet hard candies on sticks. "Hello." Miller responded, still behind his helmet visor and gas mask. Following the 3 children, some adults came out from the farm, 1 male and 3 females. Like the children, they were all wearing loose-fitting clothes made from coarse, undyed hemp. Not even carrying primitive hand weapons, they were completely unarmed. He was surprised how carefree they were towards him. They showed no signs of caution or fear from the world they lived in. Miller decided to remove his helmet to show his face. "Wow, you family?" The male seemed surprised by Miller's exposed face. "Not with those clothes," the smallest of the 3 women said. She walked up to Miller, looking up at him with large brown, doe-like eyes. Miller thought she was adorable. Her skin was a very light tan. Unlike the mutant's flesh, hers was young and youthful without a single blemish or wrinkle. Miller guessed she could not have been any older than 18. A mutant would look like 70 at that age. Her lips were feminine and a bit reddish, but not the bright red color of Brandy's lips. She was the same height as the mole men, no taller than 5 feet. The other 2 women were taller than her and cute, in a simple, natural way. All the women kept their long, full wavy hair loose and free. The male was almost the same height as Miller, with hints of whiskers on his chin and upper lip. His hair was tied up in a man bun. The male's body frame was very lean and even fragile-looking. Miller was confident he could easily pick the young man up and break him over one of his knees. One odd thing he noticed about all the adults was that they all had very heavy, drooping eyelids, as if they had not slept for several days. Reaching out, she gently felt the fabric of Miller's uniform. "What is this material?" Miller looked down at her. "It is a synthetic composite weave." She let go of his sleeve and stepped back, smiling at Miller. The other 2 women and children approached him, all wanting to also feel the material of his uniform. "Synthetic?" one of the other young women asked. "Yes, synthetic. It is actually a composite of man-made materials. Unlike the clothes you are all wearing, which are a natural fiber," he explained as the other women stopped feeling his uniform. "Why?" the male asked, having not felt the uniform for himself. The petite woman who first approached Miller replied, "It feels wonderful. It is much nicer to the touch than these." She ran her hand across the rough, heavy, untreated hemp she was wearing. Miller looked at the young man, who was not much older than the women. They all seemed to be in their late teens. "The material is designed to be all-weather." "All-weather?" one of the women asked. "Yes, all-weather. It keeps me cool in the heat. It keeps me warm in the winter. It is also flame and water resistant." Wow, man, that is cool. The man responded. At that time, more of the family members came out from the farm to meet Miller. Miller was confident that they were not a threat. 124 was still cautious, knowing that most likely most of his defensive weapons would be useless against these children of mutants.